Good afternoon. We're on the record. Today is October 9th, 2018. The time is 4:02 p.m. We are at 100 Church Street in New York City on the 20th floor. Welcome to today's meeting of the New York City Business Integrity Commission. This is a public meeting which was duly noticed for today's date at this location at 4 o'clock. We have a court reporter here taking down what's being said, and this meeting is being videotaped. The video will be put on Vic's website in a timely manner after the conclusion of this meeting. I am Noah Janelle, First Deputy Commissioner and General Counsel for the Commission. I am joined by the following Commission members: Daniel Brownell, Commissioner and Chair of the Business Integrity Commission; Department of Sanitation Commissioner Catherine Garcia; for Commissioner of the Department of Investigation, Mark Peters; Christopher Tellett; Chief of Staff Kenny Manaya of the Department of Consumer Affairs, representing DCA Commissioner Lorelei Salas; Deputy Commissioner for Legal and Regulatory Affairs Andrew Schwartz of the Department of Small Business Services, representing SBS Commissioner Greg Bishop; and New York City Police Department Inspector Dominic Gerazio, representing Police Commissioner James O'Neill. Thank you all for being here today. The first agenda item is for the Commission to consider one application which the Commission staff has recommended be denied, that of Parkside Construction Contractors, Inc., to operate as a trade waste business. The applicant was served with a notice of the grounds to recommend the denial of its application. The applicant was advised that it had 10 business days to submit a sworn written response to the Commission. The applicant did not submit a response. On October 3rd, 2018, we emailed to the Commission members the recommended denial decision regarding the application at issue. There have been no material changes made to the recommended denial decision since we emailed it. I will now review the grounds cited for the recommended denial. For the application, the Commission members will vote as to whether or not to adopt the staff's recommendation to deny the application. A vote of yes is a vote to adopt the staff's recommendation, and a vote of no is a vote not to adopt the recommendation. The staff attorney in charge of the Parkside application is Deputy General Counsel for Regulatory Enforcement David Mandel. The Commission's staff recommends denial of this application based on the following 5 grounds as fully set forth in the staff's recommendation. 1, the applicant and the applicant's principals are the subjects of pending indictments charging them with grand larceny, insurance fraud, scheme to defraud, and offering a false instrument for filing. 2, the applicant and the applicant's principals have committed racketeering activities. 3, a principal of the applicant has been identified by the United States Attorney's Office for the Eastern District of New York as an associate of an organized crime group. 4, the applicant provided false and misleading information to the Commission. And 5, the applicant failed to timely notify the Commission of criminal charges brought against the applicant and of the arrests of and criminal charges brought against principals Francesco and Salvatore Puglisi. Do any of the Commissioners have any questions or comments regarding this application? Seeing none, is there a motion from the Commissioners to adopt the staff's recommendation?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
How do the Commission members vote?
Aye. Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Let the record reflect that the vote is unanimous. The next 3 items on the agenda are proposed final rules for the Commission to consider. In accordance with the City Administrative Procedure Act, the 3 proposed final rules were sent to the Commissioners on October 3rd, 2018. The first proposed final rule is a penalty schedule for violation of BIC rules relating to the public wholesale markets in New York City. Penalties for violations of BIC's public wholesale markets rules have been until now set forth in Oath's rules. Oath, in conjunction with the Mayor's Office of Operations, determined that penalty schedules used in the adjudication of agency rule violations previously promulgated by the Environmental Control Board should now be issued by the respective agencies. The proposed final rule also adds new penalties to the existing penalty schedule, and it explains the penalty schedule and the existence of mail-in penalties. Under a separate rulemaking, Oath is proposing a companion rule to repeal the BIC penalties currently set forth in Oath's rules. On July 24, 2018, the Commission held a public hearing on the proposed rule. The penalty schedule is now up for a vote as to whether to adopt. If the Commission votes yes to adopt the rule changes, the final rule will be published and will go into effect 30 days after publication. Do any of the Commissioners have any questions or comments regarding the proposed rule? Seeing none, is there a motion from the Commissioners to adopt the proposed rules?
So moved.
Is there a second? How do the Commission members vote?
Aye. Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Let the record reflect that the vote is unanimous. The next item on the agenda is an amendment to BIC's rules regarding financial hardship waivers from compliance with Local Law 145 of 2013, which relates to vehicle emissions. Local Law 145 gave the Commission the authority to refuse to issue a license or registration to an applicant that has failed to demonstrate that it will meet or, once the local law becomes effective, has met the law's requirements. The local law requires that every heavy-duty trade waste hauling vehicle that is owned or operated by an entity required to be licensed or registered by the Commission and operating in New York City be equipped with either one, an EPA-certified 2007 or later engine, or two, utilize best available retrofit technology as defined by the New York City Department of Environmental Protection before January 1st, 2020. Under the law, the chairperson of the Commission may issue a waiver of this requirement where the applicant for such waiver has demonstrated that compliance with the law would cause an undue financial hardship on the applicant. The final proposed rule provides for the process for licensees and registrants to apply to the Commission's chairperson for a temporary waiver of these engine requirements based on an undue financial hardship. On June 20th, 2018, the Commission held a public hearing on the proposed rule. The hardship waiver is now up for a vote as to whether to adopt. If the Commission votes yes to adopt the rule changes, the final rule will be published and will go into effect 30 days after publication. Are there any questions from the Commissioners as to the proposed rule? Seeing none, is there a motion from the Commissioners to adopt the proposed rules?
So moved.
Is there a second? How do the Commission members vote?
Aye. 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 Aye.
Let the record reflect that the vote is unanimous. The final item on the agenda is an amendment to BIC's rules regarding improving the safety of the general public. Specifically, the new amendments will require licensees to increase the limits on commercial general liability, business automobile liability, and employer's liability insurance, and require registrants to increase the limit on business automobile liability insurance. The amendments will also require licensees and registrants to notify BIC of their drivers' vehicle and traffic law violations and driver's license suspensions or revocations for their vehicle operators, crashes that involve a vehicle used in the licensee's or registrant's business, and to notify BIC of certain adverse actions by any federal, state, and local government authority. The amendments will require licensees and registrants to maintain written policies and procedures regarding compliance with all of the laws, rules, and regulations of federal, state, and local government authorities. The amendments will also require licensees and registrants to maintain MV 104 forms, which are motor vehicle accident reports, and other forms related to crashes, as well as adverse determinations by any federal, state, and local government authorities. On September 17, 2018, the Commission held a public hearing on the proposed rule. Excuse me. The amendments regarding improving the safety of the general public are now up for a vote as to whether to adopt. If the Commission votes yes to adopt the rule change, the final rule will be published and will go into effect 30 days after publication. Are there any questions from the Commissioners? Seeing none, is there a motion from the Commissioners to adopt the proposed rule?
So moved.
Is there a second? How do the commissioners vote?
Aye. 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 Aye.
Let the record reflect that the vote is unanimous. That concludes the matters before the commission. I ask the members of the commission to sign the denial decision that has been voted on today. We'll get that to you momentarily. Thank you to the commission members for your participation and to the members of the commission staff for their hard work on these matters. And thank you also to the members of the public who are here today. We're off the record.